Hello everybody, my name is Megan and welcome to my June and July wrap up. So this video is coming to you late because of who I am as a person. So I read about 30 books, I want to say, in June and July. So June we had Marvelathon and Whateverthon. I did well, yay. Came in the second team for Marvelathon, got Team Scarlet Witch, and the first team, I believe, for Whateverthon, but I don't remember, so if that's wrong, I'll put it here somewhere. But yeah, it's summer, it's warm, so I apologise if I do this every so often and just try and cool down a tad. But yes, what am I doing? I'm not going to talk about these books for a particularly long time. I'm not going to give you a synopsis for them. I'm just going to give you my star rating and just like a sentence of like thoughts or vibes or whatever, because there are too many books and I don't have the energy. So I'm going to try and link everything down on Goodreads. So I don't have reviews there yet because I'm terrible, but there will be a summary so you can decide if, based on my thought, you want to find out what they're about. So the first book that I read was A Sound for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. I gave this 5 stars, and this is cozy and whimsical and philosophical. It was just delightful overall. I loved it, and I would really like to go to tea with a tea monk. Can you imagine? Oh yeah, loved it so much. New favourite. And then I read The Drowned by Laini Taylor and Jim DiBartolo. It was interesting enough, but there wasn't quite enough meat in the story for it to be a self-contained graphic novel, and the art style wasn't my favourite, so 3 stars for this one. Then I read Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. Gave this one 5 stars. This one is told in diary entries. I love an epistolary novel. It's a favourite thing for me. Excellent writing and a really cool concept. And then I read People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. Also 5 stars. Alex Nilsson, that is right, yeah, love of my life. I'm obsessed with him as a male love interest. I love him so much. Just Emily Henry, adult romance, like supremacy. You know, you get it. And then I read Foundation by Isaac Asimov, 4 stars. And there were no women in this book, so that was weird. And you could tell that it was several short stories that had been like stitched together to form a full-length novel. So some of the characters and some of the plot threads felt more developed than others, but the politics in this, chef's kiss, excellent. And then I read the Murderbot books 2 through 4, which I gave 4, 5 and 4 stars respectively. I love the vibes. The vibes are great. I love the characters. I love Murderbot, and there were some cool robot characters through this that I really enjoyed. In book 3 especially, but book 2's AI creature robot thing, great. And then I read Nick and Charlie by Alice Oseman, 4 stars. I love that it's sort of a combination of novel and graphic novel, so we still get like the Heartstopper vibes, and I'm also just obsessed with Nick and Charlie, and this could have hurt me so much and I'm glad that it didn't. And then I read Docile by K.M. Sparrow. Gave this 5 stars. What a messed up book. It could have definitely had more discussion over consent and capitalism. Like, its tagline is "there is no consent under capitalism," and considering how chunky it is, like it could have had more of the politics, but like what an interesting sort of character study, and just again impeccable vibes. And I really did like the writing in this as well. And then, not to keep going on about 5 stars, but I read Loveless, also by Alice Oseman, 5 stars. So the friendships and the exploration of sexuality in this were really great, and I'm really glad that young people today have this kind of representation to choose from and read about, and I wish I had it when I was going to uni. And then we have One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston, which I also gave 5 stars. So we have found family vibes, we have angsty romance vibes, we have young, beautiful and queer in New York City vibes, and overall I really liked it. It was really good. And then I read The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels and The League of Gentlewomen Witches, both by India Holton, and both got 5 stars. These were they were really great, they were incredible, they were whimsical and witty and fun and ridiculous and like fantastical and romantic, like a teensy bit steamy, which I didn't expect, and yeah, just like ridiculous historical fantastical romances. And it's a new favourite series and I'm absolutely obsessed with just this entire concept. And then I read A Mirror Mended by Alexi Harrow. This was 4 stars. It's a continuation of the parallel universe Sleeping Beauty story from A Spindle Splintered, but it has like a villain twist. So it's Alexi Harrow and I love her writing, so it got 4 stars, but it's not my favourite collection of tropes and like vibes put together, you know? And then I read Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This was an ARC kindly gifted to me by the publisher, so thank you to them and NetGalley. And this had really great rep, really interesting concept. It was well written, and it didn't give me what I wanted. It didn't have the vibes and the plot progression and relationship progression that I was expecting, so it wasn't for me, but I'm looking forward to seeing what else the author comes up with. And then I read The Fever King by Victoria Lee, 4 stars. This had interesting world building, interesting character dynamics, things got interesting towards the end, and I'm really looking forward to getting to book 2. And then I reread You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel, which was 5 stars, and I'm obsessed with this book. and please read it, please. And that was June. So now we move into July's reads. So first I listened to the audio of Well Matched by Jen DeLuca. I gave this 4 stars. I was really looking forward to this book, and it was fine, it was good, but there wasn't enough of like the couple together. I did enjoy the fake dating and the familial elements of Mitch's character, though. That was good. And then I read Twice Shy by Sarah Hogel. 5 stars. This was so wholesome. I love Sarah Hogel, and the Grumpy Sunshine dynamic in this, impeccable. And Wesley was so wonderful, and Mabel's growth. Oh, Wesley and Mabel, man, they had my whole heart in this book. I loved it. And then I read A Prayer for the Crown Child by Becky Chambers, which is the second book in the Monk and Robot series. I gave it 5 stars. I would die for Dex and Mosscat. Like, I love them so much. They have my whole heart, and I would kill for 800 more books in the series. Just give me 800 more novellas of them just exist. Hit myself in the face. Of them just existing. You know, just going about their days. Just, you know, vibing, living, loving, laughing. I love them. And then I read The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley, and I gave this one 5 stars. Oh my gosh, I swear, I am like a discerning reader. I do critique things occasionally. So this one, I love Daniel, I love Maury, and I hate Grace. And I love the house on Filigree Street, and I love the clockwork creatures. And have I mentioned that I hate Grace? I hate Grace. And I love the atmosphere, and the fact that someone broke into Daniel's house and did his dishes and left him a present and left. Impeccable. And I hate Grace. And then I read Love, Lists and Fancy Chips by Sarah Grinder Ruiz. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. It was a fun romance with an undercurrent of real emotion and grief, and that was really good to read. I was obsessed with how a main couple met in this, and just the way their relationship took off. Beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to Nina and Ollie's story, who we meet in this book. Luck and Last Resorts, I'm coming for you. And then I read Meet Me Halfway by Lillian St. James, which I gave 4 stars. I wasn't aware going into this it was a single parent romance, and the main love interest was such an asshole at the beginning. Like, it's difficult for me to come around on him, but I did enjoy it. And then I read Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Gave this 5 stars. So yeah, Emily Henry like does it again. This is like a reverse rom-com almost, where like the bitter lonely people who end up being left alone in the city instead find each other and stay in the city. I love it. I love it so much. Plus the antagonistic working relationship really did it for me in this one. I was a fan. And then I read Layover by Emily Henry, which was a just like mini little one-shot epilogue, mainly for January and Gus from Beach Read, but it also featured our couples from People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. And it was so sweet, and I loved it, and it was a great time. I didn't rate it though because it was literally a chapter. And then I read the sequel to These Twisted Ones by Lexi Ryan. I read These Hollow Vows, which is a tropey and predictable fun YA fairy fantasy, and I really enjoyed it. 4 stars. Thought it was pretty well executed. And then I read The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which I thought was well written and interesting enough, I suppose, but none of the characters were actually interesting enough to justify an entire book to be written about them. They're all just kind of almost boring to read about, but it was really well written. And then I buddy read Shadow and Flame with Becca from the Becca Fowle. This is the sequel to Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett, and this was a good conclusion to an interesting duology that I did really enjoy. Went in an interesting direction, but I do think some of the relationships were underdeveloped and underutilised, and there wasn't enough focus on them, and like some of the resolution was a little bit too convenient. But overall I had a really good time with this duology. And finally, I don't know when I read this in July, because it definitely wasn't the last book I read in July, but I didn't mark it as read on Goodreads, so it was just when I was sat thinking about books for this video I was like, I definitely read this in July. So For the Wolf by Hannah Witten, which is book 1 in the Wilderwood duology. So yeah, pretty obsessed with this take on Red Riding Hood. Eamon, the wolf, Eamon was like broody and angsty and like had a whole martyr complex going on. I was a fan. The pacing did feel a little bit odd with news chapters thrown in, but they were also necessary, so I don't know what else you could have done. But yeah, that was a weird sort of pacing issue, because I really didn't care. I really just wanted to be with Red and Eamon, and I really did like them. This was great. I'm looking forward to continuing with the series. And that's all 30 of the books, I think. I really don't want to pick up this stat to show you all the physical ones I had, because it's a lot. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I am sorry that I gave you book kiss, just no information, but I did have a good time reading them, and as you can tell there was a lot of 5 stars, a lot of new favourites in this stat, and I'm really happy with it. So I will see you in another video soon. Please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on social media. Everything is linked down below, and I will see you in a video soon. Bye.